Do a quick video, I said. I'm just gonna do a quick video. Get your ass over there and come up. The rule of thirds on their ass. Get my stomach. Me hide my stomach. Okay, where are we going? Oh yeah, right like that, straight like that. All right, I'm just gonna go with it. Hey y'all, welcome back to Tulsa. I know it has been a while. It has been like, I don't know, I think like a month and a half, maybe 2 months since I've uploaded a video. And it is now currently, I just had to look it up because I have no idea. Yes, it has been 24 weeks since I arrived in Tulsa. So man, time is flying. We're almost at the 6-month point of me being in the Tulsa remote program. If you are rejoining us, yo, that is not a prop and that is not pretend. Like this, that right there goes to show you like my life is going crazy right now because why did I have a spoon in my pocket? I have no idea why or how that got there. Okay, so let's get started. Let's jump right into it. The first piece of news or the big announcement that I have to share with you guys is that I moved. I did share in my last video that I was moving, but I actually bought a home here in Tulsa. Yay! Such exciting news. Man, that was really a process. And so of course, going through the home search and the buying process really took a lot out of me and really distracted me quite a bit from creating content for that. I had to pack up everything, move into a new house, unpack everything, get everything set up. And that is still in progress as well, because of course the holidays rolled around and I did some traveling and things like that. And so now I'm here ready to get back to it. And now I'm here with a spoon in my pocket for some unknown reason. Ready to get back and tap in and touch in with you guys. I am like distracting myself or distracted by this freaking turtleneck dress. I am tired. I know you guys are tired. I feel like the last 4 or 5 videos I've been wearing these turtleneck dresses, and I've just in general, I'm constantly wearing like 2-piece sets and things. I felt like I just needed to sort of simplify my life somehow. And these little items give me comfort, okay? But I promise you next video, I will not be wearing one of these turtleneck dresses, okay? We have exhausted all possibilities of turtlenecks, every color, every color that this dress came in. I will definitely be doing another video just talking more about, you know, my home buying experience in Oklahoma, my experience with moving itself, the movers, my neighbors. I think that definitely warrants another video or maybe a series of videos. I also have some more apartment tour videos coming for you guys. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I guess the number one question, of course, that I've gotten from friends and family and acquaintances and strangers when I tell them that I just bought a house in Tulsa is, oh, so that means you really like it. 1, right? You really love Tulsa. And 2, obviously you're staying there forever because you bought a house. So that is not exactly fully the case. And I will share more with you guys about that later. But Tulsa is cool. I'm just looking over my notes and I wrote this down on December 5th and today is now January 1st. Of 2025. It's a whole new year. And so a lot of the stuff is just so outdated. Like I'm talking about Thanksgiving, what I did on Thanksgiving, the weather in Tulsa. Back on December 5th, I said, oh, it's cold. And it has been chilly, but it's also been a bit weird. Like this past week, basically the end of December, we were having temperatures in like the mid 60s. It was fairly warm. Then it would drop down and get kind of cold at night, but by no means no comparison. You know, when I'm talking to my family that's back on the East Coast and they're like, yeah, the roads are a sheet of ice. It's freezing cold and things like that. There's absolutely no comparison. So it has gotten pretty chilly. Like next week, it's supposed to get pretty daggone cold here, like legitimately cold, but I'm making it. That was one of my major concerns. And if you've been watching the channel and reading the comments, the weather in the winter was like a major complaint. I would say that was a trend, right? Like you get people saying there's nothing to do in Tulsa, Oklahoma's boring, things like that. But something that stood out to me a lot was the weather. Like how many people complained about the weather and they said the weather sucks and it's really hot in the summer, it's really cold in the winter. So I was expecting these extremes because it was like triple digit hot during some parts of the summer, but not the entire summer. Either way, I say all that to say that I am surviving now 3 seasons here in Tulsa. And then meanwhile, my friend who's in Houston, it's gotten to the point where it irritates me. I know you watch my videos. Every time we get on the phone, you want to say the first question, not am I okay? Not am I alive? What's the temperature there? What's the weather like there? And I'm like, oh, it's not too bad. Like I said, I'm like, oh, it's going to reach like 65 today. It's not bad at all. And then you turn around and say, oh, well, it's 80 degrees here in Houston. It's lit. I'm about to go put on some booty shorts and run the street. First of all, you're going to put your booty shorts on and not run anywhere because you're going to be stuck in traffic. You're going to put your booty shorts and jump on the highway and sit there for an hour and a half. So take that, Houston. Speaking of the travel that I did recently, so I traveled to Cuba. That is going to be definitely a series of videos, I think, about that trip. I don't think one video is enough to talk about all of that, but I had a very interesting, transformative experience in Cuba. And I promise I will definitely be more consistent now that I've gotten into the house and crossed off everything. Like 2024 was a great year for me. Like literally every goal that I set for myself, every goal that I had, I completed. I achieved everything. Yes, it's very exciting. I'm very excited going into this new year. It's almost to the point where I'm like, now what? Like, what else is there? And I think the answer that I've been getting from the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, right? Coming through multiple vessels, multiple different people, is just enjoy it. Like, let's just kick back and chill and enjoy this year. Like, I think for me, 2025 is not so much about attainment, but it's more about kicking my feet up a little bit and enjoying. Let me see. Thanksgiving. Stuff I heard about versus what I did. So yeah, Tulsa Remote definitely had some events that were going on. It's like a very distant memory now. And I know that Halloween, oh my goodness, Thanksgiving is well past us, but maybe this could help someone, you know, if you're watching in the future, next year or something, to know about these events. So even if you're not in the Tulsa Remote program, there is so much going on, I feel like, in the Tulsa community. There was an event that actually someone texted me about, and it was there's a local chef who's here in Tulsa, and I think he and his wife, they did something like a Friendsgiving kind of concept, but they made all of the food, and it was like you could just come in casually in and out to enjoy that if you wanted to partake. So yeah, there were plenty of things going on, but I did want to kind of highlight that event because I thought that was really cool. And I feel like being here in Tulsa, yes, there are things going on. Yes, there are things to do. I will never try to take that away from Tulsa. When I say certain things, I think people will like really take offense or take it to heart. But y'all, this is not Atlanta. It's not DC. It's not Houston. It's not Miami. It's not Denver. It's not, you know what I mean? Like the lifestyle is very different. It's not New York. It's not Philly. It's not freaking Tucson. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very different. It's a very different vibe. Even the social, how can I say it? The social world is very different. The hours of operation are very different. Like, and there's nothing wrong with it. Listen, I just bought a house here. I'm putting down a certain level of roots in this city and in this state, right? And it's cool. Like, it's definitely cool. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what is going on in Tulsa. But at the same time, I can say, wow, I really noticed that there was like an effort put forth, and there's this certain interest or energy that people put forth into the holidays that I don't see and I have not seen anywhere else. It's a very specific type of energy. It's more like homey and, how do I want to say this? Yeah, it's like, okay, it's Thanksgiving. Like, we'll invite you in, like, we'll feed you. It's Thanksgiving, we'll feed you. It's Christmas, the whole city is lit up and decked out with lights. However, if you're like that high energy person, you're used to like a fast paced city lifestyle, you want to just randomly like pick up and go out somewhere any given night and find like a good vibe and people that are really like exciting and energetic and celebratory. I don't get that here, right? But it depends on your mindset, where you are in life and things like that. As myself being a woman in my 40s and well into my 40s at this point, you know, my lifestyle, yes, it has changed, but I like to have access to, I like it for it to be available, right? I loved Houston. It just had any imaginable social scenario that you could possibly look for. And I could kind of just dibble and dabble, stick my toe in. But then when I wanted to be an introvert and be in the house or whatever, I could do that as well. It's not that Tulsa's actually lacking anything, but I think that it's just a great fit for a very specific type of personality. Home by 11:15, okay? Did a Cupid shuffle and went home. That's Tulsa in a nutshell. Get yourself a drink, do the Cupid shuffle and go home, damn it. Anyway, Black Friday, I had my first encounter with Tulsa PD, and it was not fun. I did not enjoy it, okay? No, let me be serious. So I actually ran out of gas, which is so crazy. Let me tell you something. I've said this so many times, and I've heard it so many times. Nothing in Tulsa is more than 15 to 20 minutes away, right? I took that crap for granted, man. I really took it for granted, and I ran out of gas. Now, mind you, my vehicle, I've had my car for only, is it 6 months or 5? No, not even 5. I can't remember when I bought my car. Oh my God. But anyway, I've had my vehicle not that long, and I don't drive that much because I work from home. And then I also moved to a new city that's smaller than my last city. And I didn't quite have, that handle on like, how exactly far can I get once the gas light comes on? And then also this, I had this arrogance about me that Tulsa's so small and there's gas stations everywhere, and I always run into a gas station. And then combine that with, I've just moved into this new house and I get a call from the alarm company. So I'm out. So I've gone out to have a rowdy good time in Tulsa, right? A subdued party time in Tulsa, okay? I'm hanging out, I'm going out to hang out. And I knew, so my gas light came on en route to my destination, but there was a gas station, like actually multiple gas stations nearby to where I was going, right? So I've reached my destination and I get a call from the alarm company. They're like, your alarm is going off. Like, should we send, and it's been going off. Like, we've been trying to reach you. Should we send the police? I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like, what is going on? So I jump, I run. My friend or acquaintance that I've made here is like, oh, you shouldn't go by yourself. Like, what if somebody's really in your house? And I'm like, what if somebody's really in the house? Gas light's on. It's been on for a minute, but I have to get home right now. It's an urgent situation. I can't stop for gas, and I have to go meet the police and also potentially stop this break-in or whatever is going through my mind right at the time. So thankfully, I was not by myself when I ran out of gas, but I did run out of gas on the highway, which was scary and crazy. And so yeah, the Tulsa PD came. They were very expedient, very kind. Like, I didn't experience any type of, like, let's be real. I've had experiences, living other places, definitely on the East Coast. Like, I've had experiences where I had someone break into my apartment. I've had cars broken into. I've had all kinds of situations where I am the victim. Like, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a civilian, and I am the victim of something, and I'm just calling to make a police report, and they hear my name, and it's like, haha, they just blow you off, or they don't show up, or whatever. It could be on the basis of, right, your name, your neighborhood, or they just totally disregard, or, the police do show up and they're treating you a certain way. And I did not feel that, really. I didn't experience that. I think the only thing that was odd is like them asking me if my car was a rental. Like, I guess assuming that maybe my car didn't belong to me, but then maybe that was based on me having an out of state license plate too, which reminds me, I don't want to change my license plate, and I don't want to change my driver's license either, y'all. No, I need to keep my Texas license, and that's now like several years old. Listen, I'm to that point in life when a woman gets to a certain age, you have to hang on to that driver's license picture from a few years back when you look a little younger. You know what I mean? Not only that, that is probably the cutest definitely one of the cutest, like top 3 driver's license pictures I've ever had in my life. I'm not trying to give that up and potentially get a weird looking one from Oklahoma. Plus his Oklahoma license. Why does that matter? You're a grown up. Grow up. I don't know. I just don't want an Oklahoma license. You know what I mean? Then it's too real. It's too official. I don't know. I really don't know about this. Okay, let's move on to another subject. I probably need to switch my insurance over. There's so many things. I don't want to go fighting Oklahoma DMV, but my experience with the Oklahoma, like the public services here, is pretty good. Like my experience with the city of Tulsa, when I had to get everything set up, you know, put in my name for the house and everything, really good. They were pretty excellent. I mean, as you know, like those kind of experiences, I think in any city, any state, probably any country at this point, when you're dealing with like, what do you call them? Civil servants or like people who are in public service, customer service with the public, like at the state level, they're always horrible, right? But yeah, like the city of Tulsa actually was really cool. So far, so good. Another, thumbs up for Oklahoma and how the people behave here, pretty much. Since I've moved into this house, I've definitely been on high alert for all of the creepy crawlies and things. Like I did a whole video about that, right? Called Surviving Tulsa. When I was getting into all the information about, the different wildlife and all the different like 40 something, I think, species of spiders and venomous snakes and everything else that's here in Oklahoma. I thought that potentially a hawk or something or a vulture had gotten Munchie the cat. It's like 2 days ago. And he just had got his fat ass wedge stuck under the shed, which is another story for another day. But I have seen a pretty gnarly looking spider, you guys. Okay, so sweeping the laundry room, and I noticed this guy. He looks gnarly. Like this has to be something. I gotta look it up. And he's still moving. Shout out to the exterminator, because you did your job. Because all I find is dead thing. This thing is huge. Like, what is that? Definitely a spider. Ooh, that is so creepy and scary. At least it's back here. Oh my God. Yeah. Barrels of Oklahoma, I guess. I'm still not sure what type of spider this was. Maybe a bronze jumping spider. And then when I looked into it, they said something about this particular spider. Like if you hold your hand out, it would jump on your hand. Why would I do something like that? Why would anyone do anything? That's absurd. And that's no. No, I don't want any spiders jumping on my hand just for the hell of it, just for kicks and gigs, okay? But I don't think it wasn't a brown recluse. Yeah, I'm just not sure about that, but I'm keeping my eyes out. And there were multiple people who have commented on that video and some of my other videos and said, hey, like, I haven't seen a fox, I haven't seen a coyote, anything like that in like decades of living here. So don't let this stuff scare you. And again, there's so much stuff. There's so much on Reddit, the Tulsa subreddit, and just the internet in general. But then when I talk to people as I've grown in knowing, like directly knowing people who are from here and live here, they're like, yeah, it's not really that big of a deal. But then on the other hand, someone that I have met here since I've been here sent me their door cam videos. This was probably November or December. They definitely had a fox that runs through their yard. And I want to say there was something else. They're like, what do you think this is? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it looks like some kind of Bobcat was, either way, there's some stuff that's out here that's running around in Tulsa, right? Someone put a video, like I think it was a bobcat on Turkey Mountain. I don't know, y'all, but yet I'm here with the aliens, the Bigfoot, and all of that. Y'all, speaking of aliens, I was so disappointed. So I think maybe a few days, because the story hadn't really gone national yet, so I hadn't heard anything about it. But I have a homeboy that's in Philly. He's like, did you hear about the UFOs? And I was so disappointed, because I'm like, why would the alien invasion literally happen where I used to live, and then I'm gone? You know what I mean? Like, I've been waiting my whole life to get abducted, and they finally come, and then I'm in Oklahoma and miss it. But whatever, I'm just weird like that. But I don't think it's anything from, I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I haven't had time to think about it. I haven't had time to think, period, let alone think about where these drones are coming from. Yes. TR stuff. And just for the record, you guys know I am not employed by Tulsa Remote. I'm not a Tulsa Remote employee. That is always so funny to me. Is like when I have conversations with people and they're like, oh, you're doing Tulsa Remote. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so you work for them? And I'm like, no. And they're like, but they're paying you. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, so you work for them. I'm like, no, it's a program. Like it's a grant program. Like it helps with moving expenses. Yada, yada, yada. Like I give that whole spiel. And they're like, yeah, you work for them. It's just like a never ending circle. People see like there's an exchange of money. You receive money from this entity, therefore you work for them. And no matter how you slice it or what I say or how I try to explain it, they're like, yeah, you work for them. And I'm like, no, I'm actually not. Like they have literal employees that work for them that do all kinds of things, from like selecting the people to be in the program, doing all their promo, they have a marketing department and so forth. And I'm just a member. I say I'm just a member. And they're like, yeah, you work for them. I've tried analogies. I'm like, okay, well, you have a Sam's Club membership. Does that mean you work for them? They're like, no, but they didn't pay me. I'm just like I've had this conversation enough time, too many times, but no. So yeah, just for the record, I am not a Tulsa Remote employee. I just went down a dark path for a second. Oh, let me come back. Let me bring it back. But there are some things that I'm really interested in and looking into for 2025. Like Tulsa Remote has an alumni fund. Of course, I'm not an alumni yet. I still have 7 months to go, or 6.5 before I complete my 1-year commitment. There's also a benefit for education that I think is maybe being renewed or just rolled out for 2025. I'm going to have to look into it some more, but definitely interested in potentially furthering my education while I am here in Oklahoma through that benefit. And then for those, I know there's some anti-Tulsa Remoters who watch my videos, and maybe they're not even anti-TRs, but they just have that comment or that thought like, dang, that would be nice. I'm from Oklahoma. It would be nice to receive that benefit. So I can't speak on this officially, but I have seen there was a post on the Tulsa subreddit, my favorite place to go when I'm bored, when I'm not busy, moving my whole life and going to foreign countries, being in power outages for 8 days and not getting my luggage and all that. I'm on the Tulsa subreddit, seeing what's going on there. And I think the influence that the Tulsa subreddit has over me, though, is like gradually lessening. And I've also come to the point where I can see certain things that they exaggerate, or that there's people on the Tulsa subreddit sometimes speaking on things that it's now apparent to me that they don't really have knowledge on. What can I say? For example, it's like how they will speak about certain neighborhoods, certain areas. It's just obvious because it's rhetoric at this point, right? Like they spit out that same rhetoric and they try to do it in like this artistic, like they've written it in a certain way. You can just tell. You can just kind of tell in the style of the writing and the things that they say. And then also the rebuttals and the responses and clapbacks that come as well. Because there was a part of me that was like, is it propaganda? Like, are the rebuttals and the responses and the clapbacks to these people just propaganda, and what they're saying is really true? And truth is subjective as well. Like one person's experience in Tulsa, my experience in Tulsa is not your experience. It's not everyone's experience. I've even seen like what could potentially be an effort to like debunk me or debunk my videos or counteract what I've said about my experience, but this is all just my opinion about my experience and how I perceive my experience, right? So it's not that it's right or wrong. It's not that you will have the same experience doing Tulsa remote that I have. I've been here almost 6 months and my engagement as far as like the Slack chain is 0. I don't use the Slack. And then I kind of pick and choose what Tulsa remote events I go to, as well as I haven't really participated in any Tulsa remote stuff since November, maybe October. I can't even remember, you know what I mean? Because I was going through this whole home ownership process. So, you know, everyone's journey is going to look different. The lady, oh, that's the cat sitter. She was talking about moving to Delaware. I was going to have the Delaware rant. I think I was going to bring it home. So basically I've seen an effort I was living in Wilmington, Delaware prior to moving to Houston. There's been this ongoing for about 10 years now, desperately trying to gentrify the city of Wilmington. I know other cities all over are having these same kind of efforts and programs, but it's just not working. And then they try to target these different demographics to move there. And it was really ironic and kind of funny to me. Like the lady, she's from Oklahoma and she's like, I was really considering moving to Delaware. And I saw all of this stuff about how it's a great place to retire and this and that. And just in my opinion, my assessment, well, one, I know, you know, it's like when you know what you know and you feel what you feel about a place, the same way that people know what they know for themselves and they feel what they feel deeply about Tulsa. I don't think it would be a good fit for this particular lady. And I told her and I explained exactly why, you know. And then even today, like I was scrolling this morning and I'm like, now they're talking about how it's a tech hub and it's a great place for Black people. There's a lot of Black people, which it does have like it's a majority Black population, you know, and there is that diversity there where you have West Indian people and Latino people. That is true. That is very true. And there's been like a big influx of Indian people and some of what they're saying is true, right? And then they promote like there's no sales tax, but they don't mention about like income taxes and property taxes and sales tax on vehicles and the higher price of everything. And I don't know, it's kind of weird because that area it's like a little haven in this bubble where, you know, people move from like DC or New York or New Jersey where the property taxes are even higher. And it's, you know, it is great for them to move to Delaware at that point. But there's a lot of things that you have to cope with. I think I mentioned a few minutes ago, if that's not edited out, you know, about all the crime, the vehicle break-ins, the high cost of living relatively, depending on where you're coming from. And like this woman coming from Oklahoma, having been here her whole life, I think just the demographic shift, the crime, like people talk about crime in Oklahoma and the drug situation in Oklahoma. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I don't think anyone should I don't think it's really ethical to encourage like seniors to move to Wilmington. They're like, yeah, it's such a tech hub and it's great for like young Black professionals. Like they're trying everything they can. And they compared it to Atlanta. They were like, if you're considering Atlanta, think about Wilmington, Delaware instead. And I was like, that is insane. That is an insane, wild, unnecessary comparison. Why would you ever tell someone, hey, thinking about Atlanta, move to Wilmington? It's great. You're only an hour and a half from the Jersey Shore or the Delaware Shore. We have tons of casinos, tons of crime, and tons of drug use, and the schools have gone downhill. Oh, I wonder if Wilmington has a subreddit. That would be really interesting, right? Because there would be, stepping into my own shoes, right? I could be one of those people who's there like, hey man, I don't think you guys should move to Wilmington, Delaware on a Wilmington subreddit. But there are going to be people who move there and love it. Hell no, it's not Atlanta. But I mean, I saw things too about Tulsa. They were like comparing Tulsa to Austin, comparing Tulsa to, in terms of like what's happening with tech. Like, I don't know, some of these comparisons are really a stretch. It's really a stretch because it's a tech hub and a great place to live based upon what? Exactly. It's complicated, and this is not the time or the place to talk about it. So yeah, I guess my whole point with all of that is like, all things considered, Tulsa is my home for now. And I hope that you guys stay tuned, stick with me. I'm just checking to see if I had any other note or anything that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm sure there is, and I'll think of it later. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing your own experience and insights and suggestions of things for me to do. Also to the subscriber who sent me a housewarming gift. I think she knew that I moved based on following me on social media. Thank you so much for the housewarming gift. That was really sweet and really cool. Speaking of gifts, I definitely owe you guys. I promised a gift, an appreciation gift, if you guys help me get to 1,000 subscribers, and we are now well past 1,000 and growing, and I appreciate that so much. But I have to figure out how to do that without getting in trouble with YouTube or biting off more than I can chew right now. With everything else that is going on. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, love y'all. Peace.